And welcome to our October Bug Jam live stream. My name is Tiffany Hall. I'm an alumni of TripleTen Software Engineering Program, a full stack engineer and technical product owner. Tonight, I get to do one of my favorite things, which is to be the host of one of our jams. Tonight's jam is our October Bug Jam. So the QA students are going to show us all the fun things that they learn and why they are such a critical part in any development process. Thank you so much for joining. It's great to see so many people joining live, and it's really great whenever I get to see how many views we have when you watch back. So thank you so much. Okay, if you're not familiar with what this is, let me just take a minute and kind of break it down for you. So, our bug jams, code jams, data jams, we got jams all over the place. And they're really great at bringing our students together from all over the US and helping them develop a lot of those softer skills, but then also practice the skills that they are learning. So, it's a super short competition that occurs during their normal coursework, and the students are put in groups where they've never met the other people in the group, and they have to jam out a bunch of code to meet the prompt. In this case, they're obviously going to be reviewing the code that was jammed out the last month we had one. So, our bug jam has two parts: the QA part, which our students just did last week, as they were the quality assurance teams were created by our students that are currently in our programs. And they got together and were collaboratively creating the different bug cases that we're going to see here in checking the app from our September students, software engineering students, Code Jam. So I will give you a quick overview of what that project is. So our project from September's Code Jam was that our students had to create some sort of digital solution that made cleaning up fun. And I, as a mother, was very excited about this prompt. So, from campuses to digital spaces, our teams really worked through a bunch of different cleaning challenges and trying to gamify it in some way or another. Then we picked one of those projects and we asked our teams this month to go ahead and check out all of the QA specs on it. Now, our students were given the app Declutter. That one was created by our September SE Code Jam team, Clean Code Crew. I got it right. All right. And that one was a gamified cleaning app that lets you earn points for doing cleanup tasks. Super clever. Our QA teams, only had 5 days to work on their QA parts of their project. And tonight we're going to get to see their presentations. They're going to show off all the fun bits that they've been working on and all of the bugs that they were able to find. Okay. Then in the next week, our judges are going to review those projects and we'll come back with our results on October 17th. Those results will be posted everywhere on the hub and socials and everywhere. Our students are also able to vote, as are our viewers on YouTube. So if you're a student of ours, you will be able to vote after this presentation on the hub for your favorite team. If you're not a student of ours just yet, you'll be able to vote in the live chat section if you're watching us live, or in the comment section if you're watching us on replay later. All you have to do is type in the name of the team that you want to vote for. Our special audience award winners will get a very nice prize from my cat Sharkbait. It's going to be cheese. That's all he wants right now is cheese. But I'm sure TripleTen will throw in something nice as well so that you don't just get cheese. Okay, well, let's go on. So we've got three teams tonight. All of our teams are pre-recorded in their presentation. So I'm going to present their presentation and then we will chat with one of them afterwards and ask just kind of some detailed questions about how the process went and what they enjoyed about it. All right. First team up of the evening is the Bug Slayers, and that team is Benjamin Horowitz and Shruti Karnardi. Let me go ahead and get that shared. Mm, all right. Hold on one moment, please. Don't allow. There we are. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off so that way you can just focus on this.
I am a TripleTen. Hi, good evening, guys. This is the presentation for the Bug Slayers Bug Jam for October. An introduction to the team. My name is Benjamin Horowitz. I am a TripleTen alumni from the QA engineering program.
Hello everyone, my name is Shruti Kulkarni. I am also a TripleTen alumni from the QA program, and we are very excited to join this bug jam. Let me start with telling everybody what the Declutter app is. A gamified cleaning app that lets you earn points for doing cleanup tasks. The app offers users a way to turn repetitive tasks into something that motivates people to clean their house more often, since they can also earn points and get badges for earning a certain number of points. And this is how the main screen for the Declutter app looks like. So we started testing this part first, and right away we noticed that the sign up is um, instead of sign up, it's called register, and that was obviously a bug. Then we started testing the fields. So username mostly was okay with a few things like, it was not checking boundary values or special characters, but mostly it was okay. Email worked great. It even told the user what exactly was wrong with the input field. And that was not a problem. The most of the bugs that lied was in the password field. So all that was bug, and it was critical. We flagged it as critical because if the password is compromised, then the security of the system also is compromised. So that is the reason why it was a really high priority to fix this. And coming to verify password, I think it worked well. The buttons worked well. Moving on to login screen. Again, we had two fields, email and password. Email worked fine. Password had the same bugs that we talked about. The buttons were okay, I think. So it was not a problem. Moving on to the password fields, like I said, it was critical that we fixed it because it was not validating for uppercase, lowercase, special characters, or numbers like the functional requirements stated. Boundary values were not getting tested. All those tests failed. No minimum, no maximum length were getting tested. So, checked, sorry, validated. So we had to log all those bugs, and they were all flag critical. Again, according to the functional requirement, error messages were supposed to be displayed on the screen when the wrong, invalid input was provided, and we never saw any error messages. So that was bug as well. Like I said, critical because security aspect is compromised for weak passwords. Moving on to the username field, there were bugs with the username. Like I said, boundary values not getting validated, no error messages, but I think it was still medium priority. Minor bugs that again we saw is like absence of error messages, buttons getting enabled when incorrect information was filled. It was the app did not let the user through, but still the button was getting enabled, and according to the functional requirements, it was supposed to stay disabled. So those were minor bugs. They still got reported, and we still made a bug report for it. And again, another thing was incorrect fields were supposed to be highlighted in red that we never saw that. Those were bugs as well. Moving on to the login screen. So according to the functional requirements, only email password and the same, it was supposed to be checked the same way as the register password. But one challenge that we faced was we thought that these fields were supposed to be checked against the registration information that was used to log in. And so because we did not have access to developers We could not resolve that issue, and we just had to move on with what our understanding was of the app or of the login page. And in any case, we ended up documenting all the test cases, and all the bug reports were appropriately logged into the system. This was the bug reports in Jira that we, each of us, whenever we used to find a bug, we ended up logging in the system. We flagged it according to the priority, whether it was high, medium, or low. What really worked was the app flowed really well from one page to another. There was no problem with that. Login page worked well. It validated existing users, so non-existing users did not have access of the app, so security aspect was not compromised there. Visually, it was a good UI experience because buttons, text box, and text were placed correctly, where the font was readable, the fields were accessible, blank fields were not allowed. So that was covered pretty well, I think. So overall, I think according to user experience was good app, designed very well.
Hi guys, so I will be taking over the second half of this presentation. So for the user profile, this is accessible via the navigation menu, and selecting this option will take the user to their personal profile page. Um, while there's no problem changing the username, like when a user is logged in, it's not possible to change the password or email address. So I would put this as a medium priority issue, just because, like, let's say, for example, the user's password is compromised or they change their email. So they'll be unable to change their password and email, which will mean the user will either have to deactivate their account or they're going to have to create a new one. So this would lead to a negative user experience. Now for performance, the app does not fully support 19 by 20 by 1080 because the screen resolution has certain parts of the page that are cut off. As you can see in the picture above, the first one, we can see that there is a white line on the app when you click on the shop icon, which should not be there. The page should be able to show the whole page without any cutoffs or any elements like such as the white line cutting off part of the page. And then on the bottom, we can see that the app does not fully support 700 by 600 screen resolutions, and it has the same exact issue as the picture above, and it has part of the app that's cut off with a big white line in between. So I would put these two bugs as medium priority, as it can lead to negative user experience. So some of the testing methods we used include end-to-end testing, UX UI design testing, smoke testing, cross-browser, manual, automated, functional, and compatibility testing. Some of the tools we use for testing include Jira for the bug tracking and documenting bugs. And then for the documentation of the test cases, we used Google Sheets. And for the preparation of our presentation and slides, we use Google Slides. And then to store both of these documents, we used Google Drive. Now for the cross-browser testing, we use mobile browsers such as Chrome, Safari, and Opera. And then the automation for the browsers was done using Selenium. The tools we used for communication included the TripleTen Hub page and the Zoom calls, where we would organize who did what part of the testing for the application. For the bugs passed versus failed, overall we found 140 test cases, with 100 passing, 71%, and 40 of the tests failing. So that would be 29%. The bug severity breakdown, I would say there were about 20 critical bugs, 10 medium, and 10 low. In this example, this is the test script I wrote for the automation portion. Basically, for this, I had the pages PI, which had all the locator methods for the app, and then also all the methods which would be used in the main.py file. And then lastly, I had the data.py file, which had all of the inputs that I put into the main PI file, which were imported there. And I ran the test cases for basically automating a user signup and a user login to the Declutter app. And in this example, we will see the automation. So as you can see, both of the tests ran without any problems. So overall, teamwork wise, this was a amazing collaboration with my teammate. We delivered right into testing mode, and one of us had prior experience. I did with the bug jam that resulted in saving a lot of time as we didn't have to dwell at all about how we want to do things. So the extra time saved as a result was used into making presentation, video, and writing automated scripts. And overall, communication was seamless, and we were always present when we wanted to convey important information, in spite of the fact that we live in different time zones and have different schedules. Thank you guys so much for watching our presentation. This is the Bug Slayers.
All right, Bug Slayers. Well, already a crowd favorite in our YouTube chat. Lots of votes there. So you guys are definitely on the path already for that nice piece of cheese from my cat. So yay for that. Kidding. It's probably going to be just a stuffed mouse. But let's talk with Shruti. So you guys seemed to really click, and I mean, I think the proof is really in the amount of work that you guys were able to accomplish. You guys came up with over 150 just in that one area alone. Was that surprising for you guys?
Yes, I mean, whenever you are presented with a new app or new project, we don't know what we are gonna find. And it's like we start writing test cases, and it's like one after the other, one after the other, and I was testing the first part, so I had to talk to my partners, like, is it like when we were working on our projects? We didn't have as many bugs. So I'm like, maybe they came up with, purposely came up with this for the competition. So we had more bugs. So it required a lot of patience to log each and every bug. But
Right.
overall, when we saw it, it's like just that functionality that was not working, how it plays a part in a app as a whole. So that was
Now, how do you
interesting.
guys classify them so that you determine like what is a severe bug and what is just like a mild annoyance?
So basically, like I stated in the presentation, like passwords and everything,
Mm,
because that will compromise. Uh, it's not UI experience. Obviously, it's there, like visually appealing thing. So for a naive user, probably that would be annoyance. But actually, if we think beyond that, I think security is where we need to, like, criticality. We need to go fix it right away because a user is not going to realize that. Only the people who are behind the scenes, like developers or testers, are
mhm.
going to realize the severity of it. So,
Yeah.
yes.
And people are giving all that information out. So
Yes. So why password is important? Why it is important to have these special characters, uppercase, lowercase. The naive users don't care, but we need to make sure that when we are releasing the product, everything is, in place.
fantastic. All right, so that is our first team of the evening. That's the Bug Slayers, and that is Benjamin Horowitz, Shruti Karnarni. Thank you so much for such a really great presentation. I know you were stressed about getting it all in there, and I think you guys did a great job. So
Thank you so much for the chance to participate.
thank you so much. All right, next team is going to be Team Bugaboo, another crowd favorite, it would seem. And that one is going to be Julie McDonald and Shakur Day. So let me go ahead and get that one set up and ready to go as well. It will also help if you unmute it, I've learned. Haha, that helps. Okay, let's see here. Share screen. We will all live through this trauma together, I feel. All right, team two, here we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to October 2025's Bug Jam. In the spirit of October and Halloween, the definition of our team name, Bugaboo, represents an imaginary or irrational fear of something. To quote H.P. Lovecraft, the oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. As a team, Shakira and I dove headfirst into the unknown, tackling a new project as well as working within a new team without letting the fear of the unknown stop us from squashing those bugs. Hello, my name is Julie McDonald, and my team partner is Shakira Day. We are both TripleTen graduates as of last month in 2025 and are very excited to be here presenting our QA testing project. In just a moment, Shakira will be presenting a review of the Declutter app we tested and the testing methodologies we used, as well as go over bugs found for the landing page, sign up modal, and performance testing. After that, I will discuss bugs found within the login modal, user profile settings page, and testing across multiple environments, as well as a review of keynotes at the end. Thank you for being here. Shakir, take it away.
Hello, TripleTen family. I am Shakur, and I am going to be talking about Declutter app. The web app we tested was Declutter. It is a gamified cleaner web application that encourages users to build cleaner habits through daily tasks, rewards, and achievements. The app allows users to complete daily cleaning tasks, shop to buy items like Shriek Freeze or XP Boost, and it also has profile badge section, and you can take a daily quiz. What really makes Declutter stand out is how it turns everyday cleaning into a fun game, helping users stay consistent and motivated while improving their organization habits. And here's a video, just an overview of it. So the testing methods that we had used was functional testing, UI and UX testing, accessibility testing, and cross-browser testing. We use Jira for our bug reporting, Google Sheets for our test cases, and DevTools for inspecting elements and monitoring performance. Also, these are the environments that we had used, Chrome, Safari, mobile Safari. So now I'm going to go into talk about what I tested. I tested the landing page. My goal was to verify that the page displayed correctly for unauthorized users and the UI elements like the login and sign up buttons were functioning as expected. Most of the test cases for this section passed. However, I did find a minor issue on the sign up button, as you can see right here. It says register instead of sign up. So I did log this defect in Jira. But overall, the landing page performed well and it met almost all of the functional requirements. For the next slide, I'm going to be talking about the sign up form, where my goal here was to ensure that new users could register successfully while the system properly validated each field, including username, email, and password. I created 47 test cases covering both positive and negative scenarios, such as valid endpoints, missing fields, incorrect password formats, and invalid emails. But out of the 47, 30 passed and 17 failed. And on the side here, you can see that in the sign up form, the username Bright Sky was supposed to be between 2 to 15 characters. It extended that to 16 characters, and the system allowed it. And it was supposed to highlight the box red and say enter a valid username. And I documented that. And these are also other failed test cases as well. Now we're going to talk about the performance. So this is what I tested last. I conducted a performance and accessibility testing. I performed cross-browser testing using Chrome, Safari, and mobile Safari to see how the app loaded across different environments on all browsers. I made 15 performance-related test cases, and out of those 15, two failed and then 13 passed. On the side here, you can see that the avatar is missing a descriptive tag, which is an accessibility issue since the user couldn't identify each avatar by name. Overall, for the average load time, it was about a second across all of them, and it was showing that all the images made were optimized well. Um, but this app performed efficiently, loaded quickly, and was optimized across browsers. But those small inconsistencies highlighted good areas for improvement. This will be the end for me. I'm gonna let Julie take over, and I hope y'all have a great day.
Thank you. And as mentioned, I focused on testing the login modal, and these test cases focused on positive and negative testing for user login requirements, as well as layout and design for the modal itself. The goal of this testing phase was to ensure that users can successfully log in while the system properly validates all inputs, including email and password requirements. I created a total of 52 test cases covering both positive and negative scenarios, things like verifying input field visibility, form validation, error messages, and password complexity. Out of those 52 cases, 33 passed and 19 failed. Most failures were a mix between validation not triggering correctly, such as missing red highlights or absent error messages within when invalid data was entered, as well as login button activation upon invalid uh, data. As you can see here, a few failed tests where the email didn't um, have every element of an email address, a short password that didn't match the requirements, and then a view of what the login button should look like when the two fields do not match the requirements. The login button did actually activate when it was not supposed to. Next is the user profile. Test cases focused on testing for the user settings. Everything functioned pretty well, despite missing key components such as email and password settings for users to update. As you can see here, there were no, these components were not there, and I had to skip 26 test cases for the developers to uh, work on that before those elements were tested. Next, the environment that I tested on, I used Android mobile, Chrome at a resolution of 700 by 600, and Opera browser at 1920 by 1080 screen resolution. And though functional testing such as access and navigation worked and users have no problem utilizing the application, web pages for higher screen resolution and mobile lacked consistent responsive web design. For mobile, as you can see here, the background color is not consistent and an image here is off the design layout. As for Opera, at the higher screen resolution, the background color cuts off on the right-hand side, and this is consistent throughout the web application. And as well as the login and sign up modals, as you can see, lines have been cut here and need to be fixed to ad adapt. Final notes. Throughout, though the requirements document had a solid starting point for the QA team to test and report bugs, the document was not nearly exhaustive enough to thoroughly test the Declutter app without further communication with the dev team. These areas included in 1.2, the sign up modal allowing an email to be used more than once to register a user by changing lowercase and uppercase letters. In 1.4, validation requirements were listed as same as sign up rather than listing out the requirements and referred to 1.2 section of the document, but no instruction on whether text box and error message responses still applied. So those tests were skipped or not put in as test cases. And then 1.4 and 3 incomplete page images to refer to while testing the layout and design, as well as no images of invalid text design or error message text throughout the requirements, making the testing more difficult to understand when and where the validation error responses would appear and how they would look. In a real-world scenario, the QA team would have addressed these concerns with the dev team before or during testing to ensure the app was thoroughly built and tested for the best app functionality and user experience. Shakir and I want to thank everyone for their support throughout this project, especially Irina, for her quick and thorough responses to any questions we had. We also express thanks to one another throughout this project. Shakir and I were very communicative and worked hard as a team to support one another, especially due to Shakir working third shift as well as long hours at his current employer. So we thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.
Okay. First of all, Julie, is it your birthday? That was so weird. He said happy birthday. So now I wait. Did I miss something? I probably
Birthday.
did. No, no, no. Okay, I was just making sure to check the bubbly and make sure it's not one of those tainted cans. That's what I need to do. Okay, so Really exciting. You guys did a really great job with some of the thorough pieces there, especially when you were trying to narrow down the different like browsers and things. At a certain point, do you guys like is that like a high priority, the different browser things, asking for a developer I know? Because I feel like how many people are using Opera?
Um, Probably only web developers. Um,
So
but
maybe it's not quite a like a wide-reaching thing, but could be a high priority thing.
It could be, and it was just one of the ones that, our projects were based off of. So we decided to go with that, especially since Shakur was also working on Safari. If there was anything that he came across, he would have, communicated with me. I thought of using Firefox, but just went with Opera since has been the one that we've been using throughout the boot camp.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I mean, pretty impressive. I know Shakur couldn't be here because he's working a double shift and he works third shift hours, and I'm assuming you work day shift. How did you guys make it work with all the communication?
Well, for one, he barely slept, I guess. I kept asking him, when do you sleep? And he's like, I'll take a nap later. Um, but right now, I'm also not quite working, but so I had plenty of time and I did, help him get some things done ahead of time so that he could record early
Awesome.
because we had like a last minute like schedule change, so we had to get that done. So I
Okay.
did, but we communicated very well, and he was a great partner to have.
That's great. Now, you guys are done with the program. How do you feel about the code jams kind of in terms of experience and getting your kind of portfolio built up for your job search?
I think it's great practice, and I think it definitely helps with the confidence boost and to go, no, yeah, we know what we're doing. We may make mistakes, and maybe our presentation can be uh, built up a little better, but you know, I think it's a good
Learning.
practice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really amazing to see how much you guys accomplish in such little time. I think that gives all employers everywhere a boost of confidence to know, like, oh, if you can do that much in such a short amount of time, how much can you do when you have a full week to take care of things?
Exactly.
All right. Well, that was very wonderful. Okay, so Team Bugaboo, lots of votes for you guys as well. So heads up for that piece of cheese from my cat. That team is Julie McDonald and Shakur Day, who, hi, Shakur, take a nap. Make sure you take a nap. I think that's the message there. All right, so our last team of the evening is Team Bugbusters, and that is Tay Ra, nope, Tay Rick, and then Rafael Gutierrez. All right, so give me 1 second. Let me crack that back open for them. I want everyone to know that each of these teams did such an amazing job making sure that their presentations were right at that 10-minute mark. It's really impressive, especially with the amount of stuff you guys are covering. So, all right, here we go. Team Bugbusters.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Buster team presentation on Buzzchain projects. Let me introduce myself. My name is Darius. I'm a QA student at TripleTen Bootcamps, having background with franchisee business owner and sushi shops. I am reliable, detail-oriented person, and when I have leisure time, I love to watch movie, enjoy playing games like a chess, and listen to music, singing, and song. And I have wonderful teammates. His name is Rafi, and he is a QA engineer graduated student at TripleTen too. We work together, exciting moment at on these projects. Let me dive into our projects overview. And this project is Bastion project, as I mentioned previously, and it is a declutter apps. It is also a gaming fee cleaning apps that reward the user for completing cleaning tasks. And during this Bastion projects, our goal is to test and improve the app core features, including the landing page, signing up and login functionality, and user profile setting, ensuring everything works smoothly for both new and returning users. As having passion on new challenges, I have seen these projects not only helping strengthen the overall stability and performance of the Eclipse apps, but also will provide me with a valuable hands-on experience in bug identification, prioritization, and communication within a QA developer workflow. Before going to the projects, as my hobbies, I want to make familiar with the app. What's the app look like inside in the website? So let's go together. So before I go into the tech requirements, anything else, I want to make sure you're familiar with the text in the app. So I try to create a valid email, password, user password, and log in into the app in the website. I try to click everything that work. This is the main page. Then I dive into the requirements that I look carefully. I read 2 or 3 times on the requirements, what I need to cover. So there is the boundary value test case that we have to cover, negative, positive test case that we have to cover, left in later, non-left in later test case that we have to cover. So that we come out with the test code in 5 areas. The first one is landing page for unauthorized users. The second page is signups. And the third one is login. And the fourth one is profile setting for authorized user. And the fifth one is accessibility and performance checks. And we kind of with text methodology that functionality testing for each flow, boundary values testing for your username, negative testing for invalid email, mismatched password, UI UX testing, accessibility testing, browser testing, and responsive checks. This is the text methodology that we will go through on this project. And after that, we develop our test case drafts, and we go on each requirement and break down to atomic test case. We write test case ID, everything detail, precondition, expected results, and we make ready for the text. And this is the second stage of our text document. Before we executed the tests, we come out with the test steps, test data, and we have negative test case, boundary test case. So we try to cover. We have to cover all, and we have to make sure all the test is covered in this test case. And this is the final ones. After we executed the test, we recorded everything, like at your results in 3 different browsers, and we had the data, we have severity level, and we have zero report. And after we executed the test case, we come up with the result. And we have 47 total test case. Out of total test case, 26 test case field, 18 median severity level, 5 critical severity level, and 3 low severity level. And the critical means in a login system, testing whether a user can log in with a valid credential is a critical test case. If it fails, user cannot set the system. So it is the showstopper defect. And we have median and low case. And median means moderate issue that affects the user experience, but not the core operation. And finally, the low, we have 3 low case here. And low severity means like a minor defect or cosmetic issue that do not affect the functionality. So here is our test case and bug report in detail. Let me work together. So we have clean and highlighted in different feature, And we had ID, feature, test case, precondition, test state, everything in detail, clean. And we have expected result, actual result in different browser, data, but severity, and but report in Jira, the link in Jira. So we highlight it in different color. You will see it nice and clean, easy to follow. And the severity level, we have to we color with the blue, green, and red. So in Jira report, we make the report clean and nice. And precondition, state to reproduce, expected result, actual result, and environment. And we also make a attachment or screen shot or screen recording to prove out the bug. And this is where I want to take to the detail how we text the test case. And this is the landing page. And when we look at to the requirement detail, it say that sign up, log in and sign up. So in here, log in and register. So a small thing, but it is important as a QA to report it to make the developer know that this is a difference between the requirements. And try to make other invalid signing, invalid username, and invalid email, invalid password to text if this is a bug. So we see that there's when it's invalid user, invalid email, the frame should be highlighted in red, but it's not doing nothing. So it's just a bug. Also, we try to put in like too long password in the password field, invalid password. So, but the password field frame doesn't highlight in red with error message. So this is a bug. It's kind of we are testing. So we make sure every test case we executed, and if we found the bug, we had to report in Jira. So nothing of the bugs, any of the bugs cannot hide from us. So in total, we like 2 in landing page and 1 in responsiveness feature that we found low critical severity level bug, and 12 in registration, 4 in login, 1 in user profile, and 1 in responsiveness in medium critical case. And we also found 4 critical cases in user profile that affects the application. So we also check performance like quick loads, optimize media, and also checks accessibility, image icon, keyboard only navigation, terry site 200% without content loss, clear language heading. So they ensure the broader usability and inclusivity. So we use environment. We validate 1920, 1080, and 700 and 600 resolution, focus on Chrome and Spot Check 8, Opera, and Sapphire. We also confirm mobile responsiveness for small screen. Team collaborations. We split the feature and test type, menu exploration, negatives, and boundary checks, and we share documentation and quick sign and keep apps aligned with everything we work on. And we use the tool, mainly communication between our teams, TripleTen hubs, and for the test case documentation, we mainly use Google Excel sheets, and for the bug report, we use Jira report. What we learned from the project is saying consistent validation makes user trust, accessibility, broaden reach, and clear documentation speed developer time around. Collaboration accelerated discovery and resolution. For future improvement, next we will automate sign up, login, happiness packs, and key negatives. Add performance metrics, expand mobile testing, and propose UI UX tricks for accessibility. Thank you for your time. We are excited about the improvement already made and the roadmap ahead. We are happy to take any question that you might have. Thank you again.
Let's see here. Fantastic. Okay. Now we're going to talk with Tay, who clearly had a lot of fun with this. And I love that you took the time to show us the spreadsheet because I don't think a lot of people know that that's one of the steps you guys have to do to build all of these cases. It's not like you just kind of sit around and dream them up. You have a real system, right?
Yep.
And then do you take those from the spreadsheet and then put them into Jira as tickets?
Yes.
Fantastic. And so how was working on the project for you? Was it enjoyable? Were you surprised at how many bugs you found?
Yes. 26 bucks and very exciting because I love new challenges because this kind of excitement and experience can build my confidence in my professional skills. So this is very enjoyable. Working with different people, different background, especially when you try to tell new ad, this is you are the first person who, try to find what is good, what is need to improve, so kind of, proving your skill into the new ads. That's amazing opportunity for me. Thank you.
Yeah, you're like a detective or an explorer trying to find it where it doesn't exist and does it exist and it's really fun. It is. It's like like those escape rooms you can go to. Well, do you have any advice for anyone thinking about taking or doing a code jam, but they're not quite sure?
Yes, for me, I pretty sure that this is very good program for anybody who want to learn game mode experience, skill, and especially to gain more confidence. Such kind of thing as you have to participate in coaching projects that you can practice, you can use your skill that you learn from TripleTen. At each level, during the course, the learning season, we don't know what we learn, but when you come to really projects, yes, this is what I learned from the boot camp. So so you know how to tinker, how to start from, where to start from, and what to do. So this is a really good field that we need to use for our experience to gain more confidence on each level, each stage.
I love that.
Thank you.
Well, you guys have a lot of fans in the YouTube chat, so definitely, it's going to be a tight race for audience favorite this time around, for sure. All right, that is our last team of the evening, and that is the Bug Busters. So get your last votes in for Bug Busters. I see many of you dropping their names in the chats now. All right, that is all for tonight from all of us here at TripleTen for our October QA Bug Jam presentations. Thank you again so much for watching, and thank you again to all of the teams. You guys worked so hard to find all of those bugs, and most importantly, keep it in the 10-minute time slot. I know that's hard when you've got tens and tens and tens of different things that you want to get through. So, really, just amazing work there. I want to remind everyone all of our results are going to be posted on the hub and socials on October 17th. And just like we heard tonight, everybody really enjoyed working with their team. And so I want to take a minute to thank my team for all the help they do with all of these different jams. And that is Irina, of course, for mentoring all of us in the content this time around. Kevin, Elena, Natasha, Anastasia, Dennis, and of course my cat Sharkbait, who we know is a fan of cheese. Thank you again so much for watching. If you need to find me, you can find me at Tiffany Codes on Instagram and my website, tiffanycodes.com. And other than that, I'm going to go and make sure that Sharkbait is not trapped in the fridge looking for cheese. Thank you guys so much and have a great evening. Bye.